Here we go. Dom, how we feeling?
Oh man, it's like Christmas Eve to me.
It really is,
Um,
isn't it?
yeah. I mean, this is biggest, in my opinion, the biggest night of the off season. Not only that, I mean, it's my favorite sports holiday is draft.
Yep, it's your
The
favorite
year,
sports day of the year for sure.
and this year it falls on my birthday, so it's just even that much more enjoyable for me.
Yeah, you're on cloud
Um,
nine.
yeah, I'm living for it. But unfortunately, this year draft class is a little underwhelming, but regardless of all of that, it's exciting. It's exciting to see what is going to occur, how teams are going to maneuver a weaker draft class essentially, and from everything I've heard, we are going to see an insane weekend coming up.
Yes, a lot of trades, lots and
Yes,
lots of trades. I feel like I have several in mine, and I still don't feel like I have enough.
correct. It's just a nightmare.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. An interesting draft with. I feel like it's easier almost for non GMs and scouts
Yeah.
for us normal people out here, um, because it is going to be a lot more BPA, a
Hmm.
lot more positional value isn't going to hold as much weight in this. This is just you're going to hear guys' names that you've seen and heard and watched,
Hmm.
and it's going to be a lot more of that rather than a guy going a lot higher just because he's a tackle versus a really great guard or linebacker or safety or something like that.
Yeah,
A
I
little bit easier
struggled.
to track. Yeah.
Yeah, I struggled a lot with doing this mock. I went over it a few different times in a few different ways, played a couple
Mm.
different scenarios out, and the one that we're going to talk about that I did is the one that I fell on that I kind of like the most. I don't necessarily think this is going to happen. I did one trade in my entire mock.
Shit. I have. Hold on. How
Yeah, I
many do I
saw
have
you.
here?
You've
I
like
have like
four.
seven.
Yeah. Do I think
One,
that's
two,
possible?
three, four, five, six. Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah, something like that.
Do I think that's possible? Certainly. However, projecting that, predicting it isn't something that I play into just because it's so random at times.
Mm.
Scenarios happen. A guy falls two spots and somebody jumps up to get him before
Yeah.
somebody else will snag him. I'm not going to play those scenarios today. I'll talk about them because I definitely did a mock where I played into that a bit and you
I
guys saw
definitely
how
did
that
play
went.
into that one. I
So
very much did with how some of this is going to fall, like
I
how I
think,
see some of it falling.
yeah, I think the truth is probably going to be somewhere closer to what you have with the amount of trades. Do I think what the trades you did are necessarily going to happen? No.
Hmm.
But I think it's more similar to that aspect. So, and then I read a couple mocks, definitely followed up on some leads and whatnot for all of this, and
Hmm.
came across with a couple different ideas that I'm going to play into. I have a couple interesting picks. You have several interesting picks to me,
Yes,
and
yes. I was gonna
it's
say that's gonna be the fun thing with doing this one here, officially with us having our own ones here. Just the completely different perspectives on the draft that you and I have. You are much more scout. You pay more attention to who these guys are,
mhm,
and I am looking at it through the lens of who the GM is, who the new head coach is, things of that nature, and playing those kind of trends versus, like I said, like actually breaking down the player
sure. Yeah,
themselves.
I mean it is just the most difficult thing when you have a million different voices in your ear as a GM, and the
Yes.
biggest one being an owner. So when you have teams like Dallas,
Yes. Dallas,
you
I literally looked at that through the lens of what does Jerry want?
Jerry wants a guy named What's the
He wants.
entire O-line name? Little.
What's
Everybody on
that?
their Tyler. Everybody on their offensive line
Fair
is
enough.
named
Yeah.
Tyler. There's no
I was gonna
Tyler
say.
in the first round, so he can't do that.
True. I forgot about that. Yeah, Tyler or Tyron, some form of Ty.
hmm So it's just funny. So yeah, a lot of different concepts and thought process that we're
Hmm.
gonna talk about here for a bit. There was definitely something that happened over the last. Couple notes that happened over the last few days. One of which we will get into with this mock, is that Dexter Lawrence was traded to Cincinnati over the
Hmm.
weekend for the 10th pick straight up.
I was gonna say, you sent me that, and I did not realize until a day and a half later that that was straight up
Straight up.
10th
Nothing
overall
else.
pick. That is
And
insane to me. Before, I don't know what you were gonna say
okay, no,
next.
I want to hear your notes before I speak my mind.
I am a fuck them picks guy. That is such poor management to me. Such mismanagement. Does it make him better short term? Probably. Yes. But that is a D tackle who had a down year and was hurt the year prior and is going for his third contract that you're gonna have to pay him now because you did spend the 10th overall pick on him. It's not like you can just let him walk because you gave up the 10th overall pick for him. You are now stuck going to pay him. You let Trey Hendrickson walk out the door. If you keep Trey Hendrickson and make that deal, I'm probably not as critical of it, but that seems insane to me.
hmm
It is
I
not a
mean,
premium position to be doing that. I was very much on the Ravens side for sending two first rounders because a premium position of need, and with the assumption of the second one is going to be a late first round pick. I would go with that one. This is different. This is sloppy. Also heard the only other time since this century, so since 2000, that a player was traded for a clear, like an actual top 10 pick, something that we already knew was a top 10 pick,
mhm.
was the Raiders trading for Randy Moss. That's the only other time it's happened since 2000.
So I'll give my 2 cents here. At first, I had that same sentiment. Like, that's crazy. The 10th overall pick in this draft. However, 10th overall pick in a down year, where defensive tackle, a true defensive tackle, not only a true defensive tackle, when healthy, the best defensive tackle in the NFL, is available,
Arguably.
arguably. So, would I do that trade knowing that the guy I drafted 10 is probably going to take at least 3 years to develop into the guy that I need him to be right away? Or would I rather use that pick on Dexter Lawrence and have an immediate impact on my defense that desperately needs it? I see both sides. I like both sides. This is a rare trade that I like both sides of for
Mm,
easily.
fair enough. I mean, yeah, I had the complete different thought where I'm like, good for the Giants, honestly, like
Yeah, I know.
getting
I
them to
mean,
do this, but that felt wild to me.
yeah, I mean, gut reaction. 10th overall pick for a player in general is wild. However, just analyzing it a little bit more, taking a further step back, especially when Cincinnati does not develop their young core well at all,
Outside of quarterbacks
especially,
and receivers.
yeah, I was going to say, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Let me get a guy there that's already set, already knows what he's doing. It's like when they brought in, um, my mind is lost right now, but they've
I'm trying to
whoever
think who you're
just
thinking of.
whoever just left, signed with the Raiders.
Hendrickson?
Yeah, my mind just went like that.
And yeah,
It's like,
if they would have paid Hendrickson, I would have been
well, that's the difference. You can't pay
more on
Hendrickson.
the side of doing that deal.
Can't
Because
pay
that's just,
and have him. That's the difference. Can't
I was going to say, like, that is, well, I mean, without, that is a scenario in which I go, okay, now you're putting all your chips in
hmm
and you are not forced to pay Lawrence at that point. And you have a two-headed monster for what, 2 years? Because I think he's got another year left on the deal afterward. Not guaranteed money, but I think he's got another year after this, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they signed him to an extension
Well, but
immediately.
what I'm
So
saying, but prior to the extension,
no,
what I'm
I think
saying
this
is,
was. I think he's
was it
going
the
into
last
last
year?
year. Yeah.
Either way, I mean, honestly, you're putting all your chips in and
So
saying we are going to have a two-headed monster up front.
I get that sentiment, but in the long run, I mean, Hutchinson's what, turning 30? If not, he is 30. Dexter
I
Lawrence
think they're
is
about the
2
same
years
age.
younger.
Yeah.
Dexter
I know
Lawrence is
Lawrence
2
is
years younger.
gonna turn 29 this year.
Yeah.
Hendrickson might have been turning 30 or 31.
So definitely a big difference.
Yeah. But again, nose tackle versus like true nose tackle versus edge. I don't know. It just felt like a lot.
No, I get the
I
sentiment. I just
because again, I thought
my
it was okay, the 10th for Dexter Lawrence and a Giants second or a third, or if they would have gotten something else back in that,
sure,
fine.
yeah, that
But
definitely would have been icing on the
just
cake. But
straight up like that, I'm like, what the fuck?
yeah, I mean, overall, I like in this draft, kind of like if you don't like any of that first round guys, if you don't want to spend on that capital, get a guy that you know is worth it. That's how I'm viewing it. To
Mm,
me, it makes sense.
fair
This one
enough.
makes to me, I like this trade better than the Crosby trade that the Ravens made. Just
Oh yeah, I disagree with that
well,
entirely.
you're biased, but
No, not even biased. I just mean
yeah,
it's a premium position, and also it's the 14th pick this year, and then again, probably closer to 22, 23 next year.
sure. Yeah,
And I can
yeah,
live with that.
yeah.
And Crosby is younger,
He's not younger than Lawrence, but
or not younger than Lawrence, but like, or
he's
sorry,
younger than
sorry, I was thinking Hendrickson again there, but yeah,
Henderson.
like
Yeah,
still about the same age, give or take. You know, he's a few months, not even a full year older than Lawrence.
no, but
But
yeah,
again,
still,
premium position. I
yeah,
would have done. I feel better about that than
yeah, I
this
get
is
the
where the
sentiment.
premium position thing kind of comes into play for me
I
at
mean,
least.
how many firsts would have you traded Aaron Donald in his 28 years, age 28 season? I'm not
I,
comparing the
all
two.
of them.
Yeah, exactly. So give me,
Again, different thing
yeah,
because
I'm
okay, I
not
mean
saying it's the
Aaron
same.
Donald was also giving you 15 sacks a year. Dexter Lawrence does
Dexter Lawrence can
generate.
give you 15 sacks, and he
He
generates those, and he
can.
stops the run, and he
He's.
does a
But I was
lot.
gonna say he does more just in the run game too. And that's
Yeah,
it is.
it's
I'm not
it's
saying
it's more than
he's
just
not a
upside.
great player, but I'm just
Yeah,
saying like when it comes down to it, like it, Max Crosby is changing games at a bigger level
I don't know
than
if I
Dexter Lawrence
necessarily
does.
fully agree with that because Dexter Lawrence at one point 2 years ago was Defensive Player of the Year candidate until he got hurt. Like he
Mm,
was by far heads and toes what I believe was Defensive Player of the Year until he got injured. And then
fair
last year
enough.
he was coming off of that and he still played head and shoulders above other people on a down year. His down
Mm.
year was better than most people's career
Well, yeah,
years.
no. Again, like when he's on the field, he is a top three D tackle.
Correct. So
It's like it's Chris Jones, it's Dexter Lawrence, it's Namdi Matabike.
I do name two people who I would not have put in that conversation with him, but sure.
Who at
It's
nose at like D tackle?
yeah, it's
Actually, true D tackle, not playing on the
uh,
line.
Derek Brown and Quinnen Williams.
I would have them in that tier below. I think that your big
Oh,
three are
I disagree completely.
Chris Jones, Dexter Lawrence, Matabike, and then Quinnen Williams and Derek Brown are there, but they're on the outside looking into that conversation.
I think Chris Jones was in that conversation 2 years ago, and he's taken a severe step back since. But
That's
and
until, yeah. I mean, this
I'm
year was
talking
weird
about
for him, but
yeah, I'm just talking about now who I want on that D line, and those are the three guys who I would put head and shoulders above anybody else. If Madubuike comes back healthy, good to go, sure, then we can have that conversation. But I would not put him right now above those other two.
fair
Period.
enough.
Yeah. All right. Spend
All
too
right.
much
Well,
time talking
yeah, I
about
was
that.
gonna say, yeah. Let's get into
And
this.
what's crazy is I had another quick note.
Oh,
This
did you?
one's going to be real quick. That'll also placate into this. Um, AJ Brown is essentially guaranteed to be traded to the New England Patriots after June 1st. They have to wait until post June 1st to make that trade official.
Yeah, that's a financial thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's really all I have on that. There's no other major information.
Yeah.
That kind of was dropped yesterday morning.
Yeah, Schefter put that out there. Yeah, which I tried doing a mock before that came out of, okay, where could the Eagles use him as a trade chip to move up? And I couldn't. There's nothing that made enough sense.
Yeah, it was never going to happen on draft night, just
Yeah.
financially wise. That's why.
Yeah.
All
So
right. Just wanted to get that out there to get that information going prior to getting into this.
yes. So officially mock 3.0, our last ones before the draft. Each have one here, like we said. This is going to be scored. It is going to be 1 point for right pick number, 1 point for right team. So 2-point max per pick. I.e., the first one that we're going to get into is going to be worth is a free 2 points for each of us.
Free point. But yeah, 2 points because
Free 2 points. Right
spaced
team,
out there.
right team, and right pick. Yeah.
Yeah, I see. Yes.
Right pick number, right team. Yes.
Yeah. So
So
to get into it on the top, Raiders at pick one. This pick's been known since January 18th, give or take.
I was going to say, by the
I'm trying to
time
think
when did the college football playoffs start?
well, Dante Moore still could have come out, which there would have been some conversation at that point. That's why I was just like January 18th.
Yeah, fair enough.
When Mendoza was like inching his way towards the end of the
That's
college
fair.
football playoffs. So yeah, it's Mendoza. It's always been Mendoza. Raiders need a long-term option for play caller there. They've had
Stability.
they've had some stick and peel kind of guys in and out of that lineup since Carr left like 3-4 years ago,
Mm.
and nothing's really ever stuck. So this finally gives them that stability going forward in a team that desperately needs it. And I think he's walking into the right position behind Kubiak. And with Brady leading the helm of that organization, I think he's in a really good spot.
Yeah, no, this makes way too much sense. This is going to be a sneaky one. I have a soft take with this. You know, I was very critical of the Raiders this season, kind of bringing up, you know, they have no incentive to be good because they're just going to make money no matter what. In Vegas, people are going to go to games. Like there's no reason for them to try because it's still going to be a cash cow for them. My soft take is that over the next couple years, not year one of Mendoza, but they're going to be the ones battling it out with the Chiefs in the AFC West. And I am a Justin Herbert, Jim Harbaugh stan.
Yeah, you are.
I think that I love both of them, and I think they are going to overtake both them and the Broncos and be the real, just like kind of pain in the ass for the Chiefs between Kubiak, between Mendoza. Again, not that he's some crazy prospect, but just because the floor is so high on him. He's going to give you a baseline that's just going to be very consistent. And they're going to be
Fair
a
enough.
thorn in the side of the Chiefs for a while.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm sure we'll be able to talk about that more a bit when we get to
Definitely.
summer, and definitely give our further thought analysis with that.
Mm-hmm.
But moving on to pick 2 here. New York Jets. Why don't you start us off?
So I went with Arvell Reese here. There was a lot of steam on maybe it was going to be David Bailey until the Jets basically had invites with, I don't know, everybody except David Bailey. They met with every other prospect, it felt like, and David Bailey got left off that list. I also think he's the right pick. He's very versatile. It's the comp is Micah Parsons. The Jets need something. Aaron Glenn needs something on that defense to make him worthwhile there. I like this. It makes the most sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, it would give the Jets the most juice on the pass rush if he pans out, but he also gives you the most versatility. Whereas like David Bailey is just a
pure edge,
one and go, hand and ground, bull rush the passer. Same every series. That's what you're gonna get from him. Whereas Arvell Reese, you can play him in different packages. You can use him in different scenarios. You can hide him in some ways. You can use him kind of like how the Steelers use T.J. Watt. They drop Watt into coverage at times. They move him around. He's more of a piece to utilize along the defensive line, and hopefully Patrick Graham does that a bit more. But Arvell Reese could be seen in that kind of a light, where he could drop back in coverage, move along the defensive line if need be. That's also why I picked him to the Jets here too, just to kind of showcase his full capabilities, and I hope that he's able to do that here.
Yeah. Going to third pick here with the Cardinals. Where are you at?
So this is to me, this is going to be where the picks get harder, because at 2, the Jets were one of 2 guys. It's Arvell Reese, David Bailey. Who do you think they prefer? Here, it's the Cardinals have a plethora of needs and a plethora of options. They could go tackle, corner. They could go running back if they really wanted to. Shit, they could go wide receiver. They could go a million different directions. Because within all those, there's different players they need. They could go linebacker, edge. It doesn't matter. What I decided to go with here is, and they could trade down. That's ultimately what I actually think they're going to do. Is a team is going to be desperate enough to win an edge, they're going to trade down and take the guy that they truly want at a different position and acquire more capital. But here I have them picking, and taking that guy in Francis Mauigoa.
Ooh, wow.
Yes. I think they love him. They want him. Whether they use him at guard right away, just to get him on the line, and then bump him back to right tackle later, or start him at right tackle immediately and have your 2 tackles along that line cemented. I think it's important for this team to cement that offensive line, to truly allow the offense to mesh in the way that it is needed. Because with a pick that I'll make later on, that's kind of a necessity going forward.
Yeah, that is not at all. I mean, that's the only other guy I could see them taking here.
Correct.
I should say it that way.
I think it makes more sense for them to trade down and then take him. But again, regardless,
I just don't know if anybody's going to jump up to 3 for that.
I think there's some teams that are going to jump up to 3.
I don't know. I feel like this is such an odd draft that, like I said, I had a lot of trades, but it's a lot of short movement, and it's like just trying to jump over people.
Yeah.
To make sure you get a guy at some point in time there, and it's not like major jump ups from like 19 to 7 or something like that. Like it's very minimal.
I think we're gonna see big trades. I think that we're gonna
Mm.
see at least three, like 7 to 10 spot jumps in this draft because,
Yeah,
like I
I
said,
don't see that. That's
the
yeah.
the first round guys are minimal, and you're gonna want one because
Mm,
they're good. They're definitely
that's
good,
fair.
and they're worth it.
That's
So if
fair.
you want to make sure you get that guy, you got to trade up to get him.
That's fair. So I have the Cardinals taking David Bailey here.
That's fair. I mean,
Uh,
like I said, he's
I mean,
one
they
of
haven't
the
had
top of
a.
rock.
Yeah, I was gonna say they haven't had a true threat on the D line since Calais Campbell.
Yes.
Like they've been dying for that.
Yeah.
And as much help as they need on the O line, it just I don't think taking a right tackle at 3 makes enough sense.
And again,
You know what I
I
mean?
I completely no, I completely get it. Again, I've seen a handful of things, but like I said,
Mhm.
and like I've been hearing and reading, take positional value, throw it out the window. This does not matter this time around. It is
Yeah, that's
get
fair.
your guy season. And
That's
like
true.
my
And
main point,
yeah, and I just feel
my
like also David Bailey is that guy that you're gonna like. It's gonna be hard to trade out of that with him sitting there.
I get it, but at that same point, it's like a I don't know. I do think the
I would
most
say,
likely course
especially with the idea that you're not planning on starting a rookie this year.
potentially we'll see. There's some other weird things going on in Arizona that we'll get into.
I mean, yeah, I do. Do I think they're going to have a rookie quarterback? Yes, but do I think that rookie quarterback is going to be playing much? Probably not. It's going to be you sit here and you watch Jacoby Brissett take his lumps for 17 games.
Maybe, and like I said, talk about that later because of
Fair
some
enough.
other things that came out. But ultimately, what I think the Cardinals end up doing is trading out of the spot. The biggest team that I've read about moving up is the Chiefs at 9. They could package 9 and 29, move up to 3, and get their guy. If
Mm.
that is David Bailey, or if Arvell Reese falls to 3 and that's who they want.
I
Something like that could certainly be an option. I don't have that happening here. I have them sticking and taking somebody else. But
I will get into the Chiefs here. I think the Chiefs have a very different plan that also works out very well for them.
I mean, whatever they decide to do
They're
inevitably, I hope works. I mean,
mhm.
actually, I don't. I hope it doesn't work.
I hope it doesn't work, but I also am just kind of looking at it going like, okay, they're a well-run franchise. They're going to be smart about this, and I feel like this is the smartest way to go about it.
They do draft awfully at times, though. So
They do, but they're also not just very loose with their picks. You know what I mean? They'll take shots on guys, but it's also hard to be a very good drafting team when you're drafting 28 to 32nd consistently.
it can be. You just have to be savvy.
It can be,
Anyways,
but yeah.
moving on here. At pick number 4, we both have Jeremiah Love. I don't really need to. I'll just announce your pick for you because
Yeah.
this is one that I think is definitively going to happen. It makes a lot of sense. I've talked about it for 2 months now, month and a half. Yeah, 2 months since the combine kind of came out that Titans were enamored with Jeremiah Love. He was their number one player on their big board, and that hasn't fallen off much. People have tried to push off of it, but like I said initially, he opens up that passing game a lot for uh, Cam Ward, and the offense will just run a lot smoother. They've drafted O line the past 3 years, 4 years in the early round. So I think this is the big payoff. Let the team work together, and I think the offense is going to be a lot smoother.
Yeah, no, 100%. Arguably the best player in this draft. Um, yeah, again, it makes too much sense. This is one of those feel feel like rarer times of you hire a defensive coach, but you also bring in an offensive coordinator who was also a head coach, and they're gonna sit there and look at that and go, "Yeah, this makes a lot more sense."
Yeah, I mean, the bald brigade's going to come
The
down.
bald brigade.
They're going to get their guy.
You think they'll make him shave his head?
No, I don't think so.
All right, let's get to number 5 here. Um, where are you at here? Because I will say I haven't even looked at yours. I just
Yeah, I think
you sent
I
it to
think
me.
we're
I
the
didn't
same
even look at
here.
it.
I think we're the same. I bounce back and forth with this pick a lot because they've especially in the last few days. A week ago, I was all in on Sonny Styles here. I thought it's their guy. I think they're gonna pair him with Tremaine Edmonds, have a two-headed monster on the off-ball linebacker position like Harbaugh had with Queen and Roquan Smith. Makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Changed course since the trade and hearing other things come out. I do believe they go Caleb Downs now to have a chess piece kind of a guy over the middle of the defense that he wants. Is this the pick I would do? No, but I think this is what
Mm.
Harbaugh wants to do at 5, and he will take whatever guy falls to 10. But I don't think he believes that Caleb Downs will make it to 10. I think he thinks one of the other two will make it to.
Yeah, I am with you on this one. I think it's either Downs or Styles. I think it's going to be Downs because Harbaugh knows how valuable having Kyle Hamilton was in Baltimore and having
Yeah,
a guy that you can move around on the defense. Also, just look at the last 6, 7 years, 6, 8 years, whatever it is. He likes. Man, I hated that. I can't believe I did that. Till I fucking fell for it. Um, Harbaugh likes taking DBs in the first round
yeah, yeah. He does it quite often. I mean,
a lot.
he's taken in his tenure. He's probably taken 5 corners.
I mean, yeah, if we go back through the last few years, or last 2 picks in Baltimore,
Yeah,
Malachi Starks, Nate Wiggins. It's
I
also
forgot about
been,
Starks. Oh my God.
yeah. I'm trying to think who else has been up there. Marlon Humphrey was an
Hmm.
early pick of his. Um, yeah, he's spent a lot of
Capital.
yes on DBs. He likes them. He's partial to them. I think this is the one, and I don't think he had any chance of making it to 10, no matter
No,
what.
no.
And I
I
don't,
think he gets
I
sniped
don't think,
by somebody else.
yes, if that ends up happening, but this one just makes too much sense to me. I honestly, again, I didn't say this at the top of this, but I feel really good about the first 6 picks. If I'm being completely honest, and this is one that I feel very confident in. However, if this is one that if they do go Styles, I'll go. All right. Well, kind of saw that coming.
Yeah, like I said, it's between two guys here. All right, moving on to the Browns here at 6. This one of two positions for me. It's tackle or wide receiver. It's who do they view better? Um, or third option is trade down, which I also think
Mm,
is very likely for them. Especially if they want a tackle, it makes the most sense to trade down, get the tackle they want at like pick 10, 11, 12, wherever that trade down ends up happening. Get
mm,
that tackle, and then use 24 in a wide receiver. That's my opinion. But again, I'm not really doing a ton of trades. I'm just doing straight stick and picking.
mm,
So in this instance, there's not a tackle I necessarily want at this point. I could see them taking Fano at 6. I could see him taking Francis Marinoa here if he's there. He's not there. So I went with Carnell Tate in the low moving cost he is. I think he provides juice to this offense that they don't really have.
mm,
Jerry Jeudy is up and down. Cedric Tillman is a one note kind of guy. Tate allows them to do a little bit more. He's going to be that true X receiver that they kind of need or hope that he becomes. They have a running back. They don't have a quarterback. Surprise, surprise. They're fixing their offense. So he's going to be a weapon for whoever is playing quarterback this year and beyond that.
yeah, I am with you on this. Is like whether you're gonna try to run it back with Shador or try to get Deshaun Watson back into the mix there. You need
Why'd you do that? Now we have to mute that.
or Ron Jeremy back into the mix. Um, like you got to give, regardless of who it is, you got to give him a little help, a little tug, little tug and chance, and Carnell Tate is the best way to go about that.
Scrap this episode.
Well, it's been real.
You know Deshaun loves a good tug.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, you got to give somebody a shot before they give you one. Oh God.
So Tate is viewed as the safest receiver in this class, and I think that's more so what the Browns need is somebody who's safe and who's going to be a consistent every down player. Whereas like Jordan Tyson's the more upside, but he also has injury concerns. And then Mekhi Lemon is known for just his slot play.
Yes. On to number 7. I can't. I have nothing else. I can't keep going. I
can't keep going with that one.
Too many euphemisms.
Yeah.
Number 7. You go first on this one.
I go first.
Let me regroup.
So, Commanders can go slew of directions. They could take a wide receiver. They could go edge. They could go linebacker. Okay, I guess I could go 3 options here. But I have them taking the falling star that is Sonny Styles, plugging him in at their linebacker. They lost Demario Davis this offseason. They didn't really replace him with anyone. I think he is I'm talking about for the Saints, Sonny Styles, not for the Commanders. However, Sonny Styles works for both. I was talking about the Saints for a second. You got me
really
fucked up. Yeah, but
I'm sorry.
Styles,
I didn't mean that.
Have going to the Commanders.
You do have them going to the Commanders. Okay, I just had to look and double check you there.
I've read the Saints because, to be honest, these next 2 players could be vice versa for either of these teams, and it doesn't really matter. But Sonny Styles, I have to the Commanders. That actually makes more sense for my argument. Bobby Wagner is
there. We go.
36 years old,
mm-hmm.
Nearing the end of his career. Sonny Styles is somebody that can come in, be an immediate improvement upon that, learn under Bobby Wagner if need be, and be the best player on that defense that desperately needs somebody to lead it.
Yeah. So this is where I have my first trade coming into play here. I have the Chiefs jumping up. Again, I don't think the Chiefs do move up unless the board is kind of falling the way I have it, which is no tackles coming off the board.
Mm-hmm.
And those defensive players keep getting plucked off. This is where I think the Chiefs will get mildly aggressive. And it's, just enough to get that pick from Washington mixed with the team that I have trading up after them, where the Commanders will go this route and give that pick up to the Chiefs, get a little bit more capital because Washington just has so many holes on the defensive side of the ball. They're old on offense. They need to get young. They need this big influx of youth here. So I have the Chiefs jumping up and taking Ruben Bain at 7. Again, all the stuff about his arm length, everything like that. Like, yes, it is a different level of question mark than it sounds like it would be. However, the dude is still great. And I think he's going to be very good at the professional level as well. Like, he's still very quick. That the shorter arms might hurt him at times, but I don't think it's going to end up being as big of an issue for him because he is so quick and he's going to have leverage that he's going to be able to get up underneath guys, and it's going to be a huge pickup for the Chiefs there at a position of real need for them.
You're gonna spoil one of my picks. I completely agree with you. I love the Ruben Bain to Kansas City fit
Mm-hmm.
if they don't trade up. I think they can wait till 9 and take him. I think, but I mean, obviously, the way I have my draft board falling,
Mm-hmm.
that is perfect scenario for the Chiefs. Stay and pick him at 9, and he fits everything that they need.
Yeah,
I
I
think
just
he's the
don't. I
perfect.
don't think they'll be able to. That's the only thing.
Yeah, obviously, with the way you have
Yeah.
your board going, I think he's a perfect complement to Chris Jones and to George Karlaftis, who is the complete opposite of what Bain is. Bain's more of a
Yes.
technician. Karlaftis is just big, complete polar opposites to what they do.
Mm.
Saints at 8. I'm just going to get into it real quick. I have David Bailey. This is where his fall stops. Again,
Mm.
I think he could go at 7. I think he could go at 8. Both of these players go interchangeable. The needs for these teams don't matter. They are the exact same. Saints haven't had a true edge rusher since Marcus Davenport. And I say that in quotations because he sucked. They traded up like 10 spots in the 2017 NFL draft to get Marcus Davenport.
Are we just ignoring that Cam Jordan has existed?
Cam Jordan's a D tackle or D end, whatever. He's moves around that
I mean,
line too
he's
much
got.
for me to be considered an edge. I'm talking more so like edge rusher.
All right, fair enough. I'll allow it, I guess.
Yeah, Cam Jordan's also not on the team, so
Well, I'm just saying. But I'm just saying that you said they haven't had one since Marcus Davenport.
yeah, and Marcus Davenport wasn't good. I'm more so meaning they
Just
haven't really
saying.
tried to draft him since.
Okay, I got it. All right, fair enough. I was gonna say your phrasing on that
Yeah,
upset me for a little bit there.
let me recalibrate it.
Yes.
But last time they drafted one was Marcus Davenport. Big risk, didn't pay off. And truly, throughout the course of my life, I don't remember them really ever having a big star pass rusher on that team that came off the edge. Um, so I think that is what David Bailey can be for them,
Mm-hmm.
coming off the left, right side. However, he wants to line up, and you tell him go off to the quarterback, and that's what he's going to do. He has good movements with his hand. He's not as loose, but I think working on that throughout the offseason and during the season, he can get there. So
Fair
I
enough.
think this is a great pick for the Saints. And as long as he continues to work at his game, I think he's really going to get to where he needs to be.
Fair enough. I have another trade here at 8.
Yes,
And I have the Cowboys being aggressive. And this one, again, made a lot of sense to me because it's Jerry. I think he's locked in on this guy and doesn't want to risk losing him, especially to a division rival. Again, I could have seen them jumping up to 7, but I don't think that Washington wants to make that type of deal with a division rival. So I think they're going to have to wait a pick to do it. And I have the Cowboys jumping up from 12 to 8 to take Sonny Styles.
Yeah, that's certainly something that I could see happening. I could almost see them jumping up to like 6 to do so. Anywhere
Right, yeah. I have seen them as on more than one occasion being a trade partner with the Browns there. I just think the Browns are going to be very locked in on trying to give any of their quarterbacks a shot with a guy that can be a true number one. And I don't think the Cowboys also what plays into it. I don't think they're going to be able to get a deal done with Washington, but they also don't want to lose another defensive player to the Giants, especially with them having the potential to get downs. Again, this is one of two here. Whoever the Giants don't take at 5, the Cowboys I think are jumping up to take.
If I'm gonna tell you right now, if the Giants don't take downs at 5, Commanders will take downs at 7. I fully believe that.
That's fair.
I had that initially, and I went back and changed it. So I initially had
I
Styles
got
at
that.
5, and then
And
got
then the
to
Commander's
7.
taken down.
Hmm.
That's fair. But yeah, I think that's, Cowboys get aggressive there. Jerry locks in on
Yeah,
guys, and that'll
I'm
be the one.
super supported if it does happen. I think that's a Cowboys have been looking for a linebacker since Leighton Vander Esch retired. So
Mm.
prior to that, they had Sean Lee. They've always had like one stable linebacker, and they haven't had that in
Yeah.
4 years. So
Yeah.
definitely
Vander
something
Esch.
Jerry's been
Poor dude.
looking for. Yeah,
Injuries got
very
the best of him.
neck injury. So
Yeah. Don't love
what
that.
what they feared with Madubuike, but
Yeah.
I think that certainly an option. I see that happening. So I talked about the Chiefs at 9 already. So go ahead.
You had Ruben Bang on there.
Correct.
So hey, 3 in a row here. Got another trade happening. So I have Washington trading back from 7
Again.
to 9 with the Chiefs. I have them doing it again because, again, how this board is falling. I don't think that I have them trading with the Rams. Sorry, let me put it that way. I have them trading with the Rams, and the Rams taking Mekhi Lemon.
Hmm.
This is a match made in heaven for both sides of this. It makes too much sense for the Rams to end up with Mekhi Lemon. I don't think they are going to want to risk losing him to the Giants at 10, who are in prime position to be taking a receiver, regardless of some of the smoke around that. I don't think that the Rams are going to want to take any chances, and they jump up to 9 and take Mekhi Lemon.
Yeah. I mean, I also have the Rams taking Mekhi Lemon, but at 13.
But later, yeah.
Yeah, I love Mekhi Lemon. I think he would fit their system pretty well. True slot receiver, where you have two X's on the outside, just
Mm.
kind of meshes really well with what they could do, and he'd be able to, like I talked in the past, really extend plays. It's even that short to intermediate range that you kind of need.
Mm.
However,
He's a going to be such a fun toy for Sean McVay. Guy that's going to be able to find the middle of the field like a tight end, but be able to get you yards after the catch.
yeah. So something I have heard in recent days, and I didn't do this just because I don't. There's not enough traction on it yet, and I'm sure in the next 48 hours there'll be a ton of traction on it. I'll kick
Mm-hmm.
myself, but I've heard that the Les Snead loves Jordan Tyson, and he would be able to push Nakua into the inside or out to the Z position, and Devontae Adams you can move inside in some plays or line him up outside because Devontae, one, he's
Mm-hmm.
getting up there. He only has 1 year left on his deal, so if you have big Jordan Tyson, Nakua next year, like that's a huge difference in play style. Whereas like Nakua can play the big slot role that he has in the past, so it's like Mekhi Lemon kind of would only be able to do that and kind of pushes Nakua to the outside, period. So,
That's fair.
kind of one little tidbit I heard. Obviously, I didn't go that route, but just so you kind of know for future, and well, future 48 hours from
Yeah.
now, we'll have that answer. But just a food for thought there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of Jordan
That's
Tyson,
fair. Yeah. Are we going to 10 now?
I'm going to 10, where I
Yeah.
have Jordan Tyson going to the Giants,
Me
who
too.
in the past
Couple over the weekend.
96 hours, so it's 4 days, has garnered a lot of speed, not only to,
Could have just said how I said it over the weekend.
sure, yeah, mine's cooler, not only to go top 15, but go specifically to the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Schoen had dinner with Tyson before his private workout over the weekend and met with him privately. Apparently, they love the thought of getting him, pairing him with Jackson Dart, and having a big offensive weapon next to Neighbors who can move inside outside role, kind of like I just talked about with Nakua. So he would fit what they're trying to do super well.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Going to
certainly
allow Neighbors to kind of get back into game shape and everything like
correct. Yeah,
that off the ACL.
I like it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
do I think it's going to happen? I don't know. They could also take Fano. They could take Vega Oni. They because they need offensive line help desperately. Shit, they could
The
take
offensive
Sneak
line
if
is
they
such
wanted
a weird one with the Giants for me because like when Andrew Thomas plays, it's a great offensive line. When he doesn't, they are horrendous.
to. Might as well get better guys
That's
elsewhere.
fair.
But yeah, they could go that route. They could take the only position I know they're not going to draft is edge. That's it.
Yeah.
Like you could take
Anything up
cornerback,
front.
you could
Yeah.
you could take safety, you could take anything else in that defense.
Yeah.
And well, I guess you already took safety and downs, but
Right.
if you flip the picks, take somebody else at 5, you could take safety at 10. It's just so many different variables here and scenarios that could play out into what they do here at 10. But Jordan Tyson kind of falls to them, and given the information I have, that's the route I went. But I wouldn't be shocked if it's an offensive lineman here.
That's fair. No, I'm with you on Jordan Tyson there. Let's go to 11 with the Dolphins here. We have I have a very different pick. I think same idea, but same idea, but because my board is very different than yours.
Yeah, because I thought this is where you took Maui Noah.
It is, yeah. This is where I have Maui Noah going.
Okay, so similar thought process. Tackle with guard flexibility, essentially. The difference with Fano is he's believed to be able to play all over the line, which is kind of what the Dolphins need.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody who can positional value here. Go to tackle, go to guard. You can even play center if need be. I'm not drafting a center at 11, but that's not the idea when you're drafting him. You want him to play right guard, left, right tackle, left guard if need be, left tackle if need be. Somebody that can do that whole thing. And originally I was going to go with Ione here, and I was all set. I think this is the second place. I guess you could see him because I could see him at 10 to the Giants, but this is really the first place where I'm like, damn, Hafley could get just a rock star offensive lineman, and I think he would in both Fano or Vega because both of them will be the centerpiece that he needs to start building that back up.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like I said, I went tackle here as well, but
Yeah,
because my board is very different than yours, Maui Noah is still on the board for me. So
and that is also who I would have taken if he would have been here at 11.
yeah,
100%. That
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought twice about it.
yeah. There's not much to say about that one other than Dolphins need something on the offensive line, and they should be in very good shape to do this.
Mm-hmm. All right, you have Commanders at 12. No, you've Commanders.
No,
at
I have Saints at 12. After their trade with the Cowboys, I went with Mansour Delane here.
Ooh, same name, different teams.
Same name, different team. Fair enough. Yeah. Arguably best corner in the draft here. Saints need a lot of help on the defensive side, specifically in the secondary there. LSU, New Orleans, some of these things, yeah, it is, it happens a lot. We see it every year. Close proximity. Guys that they've seen a lot just because they're right there. Whether that's ownership that plays a role in that or whatever else. He's in your backyard. When you have a coin flip between Delane and Jamal McCoy, I think you go with the guy that's kind of the hometown hero.
Well, not only that, he's not coming off of severe injury. So
that's true too. But again, I feel like after Stingley, that might not carry as much weight anymore.
Sure. I mean, it depends on how you view his
his medicals and everything like that. But yeah, so I went with Delane.
I also went with Delane for Cowboys for similar reasons. Outside of Deron Bland in that secondary, it's bleak to say the least.
Yeah.
The other name that you could heavily consider here for them is Dylan Thieneman. Definitely somebody I thought about at 12, but ultimately I think
I couldn't get there.
Pick. I can get there, but ultimately
that's
Delane,
fair.
I think is the best pick, and Not only that, some news today. News, we'll see how real it ever truly is, but apparently Jerry Jones loves Mansour Delane, and the front
Mm.
office also loves Mansour Delane. So if he is there and they don't trade up and none of this happens, they are running that card in as fast as they can.
I was going to say, yeah, the other thing that I saw, I feel good about him to the Saints no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
With it is now expected, I saw, or there's a very good chance that he doesn't make it out of the top 10.
Yeah, no,
So if the
100%.
Saints don't make this deal with Dallas
Maybe
at
they take him
8,
there.
they might just
Sure,
snag him there. Yeah.
certainly a chance. All right. I already talked about Mekhi Lemon to the Rams at 13.
Gotcha. I have now what would have been the second movement of the Commanders at 13 here. I have them taking Jermon McCoy. Again, probably would have been quarterback 1 in this class if he doesn't get hurt this past year.
He would have came out last year.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
If
Yeah.
he didn't get hurt, he definitely would have came out last year, and he would have went pretty high.
Yeah. So, again, you're getting him for what? 80 cents on the dollar here?
Probably, yeah.
Kind of thing with a lot of upside to it.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I have them moving back twice and getting some extra picks here. We're going to put these up at the end here just to kind of put it all into perspective. Don't take too much stock into what I have the trade assets being. This is just to push them through on the old mock draft simulators here. But again, you get a couple day 2, day 3 picks out of moving back a couple times and still getting a guy with a lot of upside. Not a bad day. Not a bad weekend for the Commanders here.
No, not at all. Rams pick at 13. I think it's going to be a pivotal one in this draft because you think the Rams are looking to move up. I think the Rams probably end up moving back in this draft. I think they're a key pivotal point just because of the player that I'm going to talk about next.
Fair enough. I just think that with the Rams, their timeline is not the same as I'd say probably the only team that's close to their timeline is the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think their just mindset is we got another year, maybe 2, and we need to be aggressive. And why would we chance losing a guy that can make an immediate impact? And, gaining extra assets for day 2 and day 3 picks I don't think moves the needle enough for them.
Yeah. I mean,
kind
again,
of thing.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I completely.
That's just what I think about the Rams right now.
Yeah, there's just so many different ways to view this, and it's not necessarily because I think the Rams are necessarily a trade down team. I think it's just they play a pivotal role because if a team wants to jump the Ravens for this next player, I think the Rams are the team that they move up for.
Fair enough. So who do you have at 14 then?
I Vega.
Oh, you did go with Vega.
14. He's a stud, dude. I love Vega. He's probably my 8th best player in this class.
That's fair.
I mean, like I said, I think he's a 10-year starter at the left side of that line. There's really not much on that tape that you don't like when you watch. He's big, he's mean, and he's going to lead that way. And I want him. I do. I'd love him in Pittsburgh. I just know he's not going to make it. If he gets past this point, he could go to the Bucks. He could go to the Jets. I think the Jets might even trade up in front of the Ravens to take him. That's how good he is as a player. I just don't think he makes it. I had a hard time having him make it to the Ravens at 14.
That's fair. I have him going later, but
yeah, I know,
but I wouldn't be mad at that pick with the Ravens. However, I just think where they're at right now and what their roster currently looks like, I have attached myself to this, and not only because I want it, but because I think it does actually make the most sense here. And I have them taking Kenyon Sadiq. You have one tight end on the roster right now. You know how much Lamar loves his tight ends and having options at tight end. Declan Doyle is coming from Chicago with Ben Johnson, who had, used tight ends a lot in Detroit before he even got to Chicago, then used to, saw the value in having both Kmet and Loveland on the field at the same time. You let Likely and Kohler walk.
Mm-hmm.
Andrews is not getting any younger.
Mm-hmm.
This just makes too much sense. He looks like Isaiah Likely. Like when you watch the tape, he is athletic. He is a mean dude. He blocks well. He feels like a Raven.
Yeah,
I think it just makes too much sense. And
he's the other guy.
On top of that, Minter saw in his time in LA what it looks like when you don't have a tight end
Mm-hmm.
or a very reliable one. Having two is not going to be the worst thing in the world. I do think that the O line needs work, but I think part of the reason you bring in Declan Doyle is you're expecting that unit to be coached up. You let Falele walk, thank God, and you can kind of fix that, and then there's still some value in day two with some O line pieces. This makes the most sense to me.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you. Um, I think the pick is between Venga and Sadiq.
Yeah.
I don't really see anybody else. Speaking of Sadiq, that's who I actually have the Buccaneers taking at 50.
Really? Wow.
They
Fair
need
enough.
they need a tight end who can actually catch passes, especially now with Mike Evans leaving in free agency. So you need a guy who's more reliable in the red zone. Yes, you have Emeka Egbuka, you have Chris Godwin, who's now going to be 2 years removed from an injury, so expect him to ramp back up into play the way he was in 2024 prior to his injury. So I think the offense will be fine, and if you draft Sadiq, it'll be good. And I think Baker needs somebody to rely on a little bit more. And having a guy like that, something that he's truly never had in his
just a guy to get easy stuff with.
Correct. So I think Sadiq is a better weapon here for him. Yes, they need O line. Yes, they need corners. Yes, they need almost
a lot.
Any other word edge.
Yeah, I was gonna say they need
don't need
a lot of
the. But
yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, just almost anything you could say they needed it.
Yeah.
So I like the value here.
To the second part of that, I have them going with Akeem Mesidor here.
I have Akeem going a little bit later.
I just think that with how I have the board going here and the other edges afterwards here, he is the most plug and play out of them. He might not have the highest ceiling, but the most pro ready. Definitely. Yeah, I'm not for sure of what's left on the board, but like outside of that. So, and they need it. You know, Bryce Young was starting to come into his own this year. Whatever Atlanta wants to do at quarterback going forward.
That's a thought experiment.
That is. And New Orleans too. I mean,
yeah, they looked a lot better down the stretch there.
Yeah, Shuck looked like something. You got to have somebody that in division you can kind of rely on. You can't just be Vita Vea.
Yeah, for sure. I Blake Akeem, and I'll talk about him here in a little bit. Not too much longer. I just think his age is going to hurt him a bit in this draft because coaches want a guy who is mainly polished, but they can work on him a bit. Akeem is just what he is at this point.
That's why I feel like it makes a lot of sense for the Bucks there too, is because that division is so wide open. It is like there is still like very high expectations for that team.
Yeah, I completely get that. 16 here. Let's pick again with a team like Jets. You have a million positions that you need to figure out, both on the offensive and defensive side of the ball, whether that's offensive line, wide receiver, cornerback, linebacker. Actually, paid a linebacker, so probably not a linebacker, but defensive line, you kind of need it. I ended up going with Jamont McCoy here because if he is,
I forgot he was still on your board.
Still is on my board. So if he is the player he was pre-injury, I like this selection a lot by them. I think he could become that void that Sauce left and fill that role very well. The only other player I truly considered here was Omar Cooper, but in the end, I think McCoy's more valuable to them than what Cooper would be.
That's fair. Yeah, I just had to double check myself. I did one of my rough drafts. I did have him there, and I do think that like if he does fall to them, you are sprinting that pick in.
Theoretically, yeah.
You are running that pick up to make sure you get him.
Yeah, I like Spot a lot for him.
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense. I, however, because McCoy is not on my board anymore here, I went with Omar Cooper to the Jets here. I think you need desperately another option outside of Garrett Wilson. You tagged Breece Hall. You have Garrett Wilson still. You have to do something on the outside. You bring in Geno Smith. Like, you got to give him a little bit of help. Kind of, I guess. But, like, even if it's not just for Geno, for whoever you get next year, or potentially day 2, day 3, that you have hope for. You need something. And I think it's decent enough value.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's 16 to take him there.
Yeah, I like Omar Cooper a lot. I'll talk about him again here in a little bit. But yeah, I completely get it. And obviously I could see it going because, again, the two players I debated here was McCoy and Omar Cooper.
Yeah.
Lines at 17. Again, I think this is a similar area where we had same process, different ideas.
Mm-hmm. Hold on, who do you have? Actually, I got to look at this, see if we ended up with the same guy.
We did, unless you flipped it after last.
I did actually, because this is where I feel like the weird part of mine and having somebody falling here. So I went with Caden Proctor here at 17.
I also went with Caden Proctor at 17.
Mm-hmm. Big motherfucker.
He is.
That's a big boy.
He's a massive human being. What is it, like 6'7", 360?
Something like that. Let me double check that here. I think it is something crazy like that.
But yeah, he is a true left tackle. That's kind of why I have him going here. There's not a lot. There's a decent amount of left tackles in this class. However, there's no true elite.
52 is what he's listed at.
I rounded up. But again, I think he's just a mauler of an athlete, and working alongside Dan Campbell, I think, would play to his strengths.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of need a guy like that going forward.
Yeah.
I just think it's going to be tackle regardless.
Yeah.
Who.
They could be a team that if there seems to be like a run of tackles being taken early in this draft, that if there is going to be a big jump in the first round, this is the team.
Yeah. I think the two tackles I see them. There's three tackles, but um, I think Monroe Freeling is a little more of a project,
Mhm.
and I don't know if they have that kind of time to work with him.
Yeah, that's the thing. He doesn't fit their timeline.
Yeah, I have Monroe Freeling going to a team that makes a little bit more sense. The other guy that you could consider here is Blake Miller, who played 5 years in
Mhm.
in college and played his best season last year. So I think definitely a possibility for Blake Miller there, but I like the fit with Caden Proctor. I think this is probably his floor, based
Yeah.
on the rumors I've heard the last 2 weeks.
I was
He's
gonna
been a
say over
deep
the last
upside
like
for.
month, it's been like that's the guy that's going to be the surprise. Like probably going a lot earlier than expected.
I've heard inklings that the Browns really like him a lot, and he could go all the way up to 6, which would be the most Cleveland thing I've ever heard of.
That's very true. That's a little bit too much, but it also sounds like Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, Alabama tackles have been scary of late,
Hmm.
transitioning from college to NFL. Me personally, I'm not the biggest fan of Proctor, but I get what is to like about it.
Yes, 100%.
This gives me too many shades of Alex.
That's fair. Well, let's go to 18, where I know we have the same pick again here.
Yes, Dylan Thieneman out of Oregon here to the Vikings. Like I said, I could see him going all the way up at 12 to the Cowboys if things shake out a little bit different. I think he's just that good. He's 6 feet tall, 205, and
Great athlete too.
just an elite athlete.
Yeah.
Moved all over the field. Played his first 2 years in Purdue, transferred over to Oregon last year, and just shined in that defense.
Yeah.
Um, and
Had
has
a
had a
very good
great.
combine too to help himself out a little
Yeah,
bit there too.
that's what I was about to say. Has had a great pre-draft process and just a super smart, intelligent kid.
Mhm.
Yes, are we drafting the white safety to replace the other white safety? Or, however, it is just happens to be a position of need, and he happens to be the best name on this board right now for me
Yeah.
by far.
He makes the most sense. Like it
He more than makes sense.
there's like a handful of those that we've had. Like Jeremiah Love to the Titans makes way too much sense and like there's steam on it. Makai Lemon to the Rams makes way too much sense. Dylan Thieneman to Minnesota.
Yes.
Little Freudian slip there. Makes way too much sense. 100%. Yeah. All right, let's go to the Panthers at 19, where we do not have the same person.
No, we probably also have two different thought processes here.
Ooh, I'm curious where you. Again, I didn't look at yours, but
I
I'll go
have no
first
idea of yours. Go ahead.
because this is the one I flipped here. Because he's still on my board, he's my faller of the draft. I have Spencer Fano. Fano is still on my board, and I have Fano going to the Panthers. Yeah, that's
I struggle to see it happening. I've heard that it could happen. I just struggle to see it
it.
happen.
Just I kind of was going through it, and this last one, like the last one I sent you, this was the only like last change that I made here was flipping Proctor and Fano because I felt like
That's
Proctor
fair.
made a little bit more sense after you and I talked with the Lions than Fano did. And kind of just on that stretch there, like
Mm-hmm.
after Maui Noah, like there wasn't anywhere that made sense for me.
Yeah, yeah, super fair.
Because again, I had Maui Noah falling as much as I did. Like if
Yeah,
the Cardinals end up taking Maui Noah at 3, all bets are off at that point.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
Again, similar thought process then for us here. I just want the upside shot and
mm,
the guy that can sit and play out his season, his time with them, in Monroe Freeling. So
mm,
I think the ceiling on him is very high. I think he just needs time to get into his own. And sitting behind, they just signed somebody because prior it was an injured Ika Mekwanu and wasn't sure if he was going to be there or what was going to happen. I still don't know. I don't know the whole situation with the
Yeah.
O line. I just know that it is shaky at best, and bringing in Freeling is going to give you that option to turn to him if need be, but also let him sit, kind of learn the system, and then whenever he's ready to go, he can just start and play. He's also a behemoth.
Yeah.
Not. I think he's a little leaner than Proctor, but he's 6'7",
I was gonna
240,
say I'll
leaning
double
340
check it
maybe,
there. He is 6'7", 315.
315. Oh, he's a lot leaner, so he's a lot quicker. You would
Compared
assume.
to who'd you say, Proctor?
Yeah, who's 350.
Yeah.
So same size, different body builds. So Freeling's a little quicker with his feet, great athlete, just so inexperienced. I like him to sit and learn in this system a lot and see what he can become.
Yeah, I will talk about him shortly here as well for another team that I think is just going to be desperate enough to have anything
Mm,
going on there,
fair.
kind of thing. So that's what I have there. Let's go to 20.
All right, talk about your trade.
I have another trade here. I have again. I think this is just a. I have the Chargers jumping up, only 2 spots, but they like the person that I have them drafting is not making it to them, and
No, he's going much sooner than this.
yeah,
So
so I have them jumping up to 20 to take Vega Ione because he's still on my board at this point. Um, because if he gets to the Steelers at 21, they're 100% taking him. And I think
yeah,
this is where the Chargers are going to jump that, make sure they get him, gives them some more life on the interior of that O line. The tackle positions have been very good to them when they're healthy. They just need a little bit of help on the interior, keeping Justin Herbert upright.
yeah,
Then you're looking at just a filthy O line at that point
that's
with
the hope.
Slater, all Ione, as long as they're all healthy.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that's what I have there.
again,
Them just jumping out, just jumping the Steelers to get to that spot, trading with the Cowboys. After the Cowboys traded up, getting a
yeah.
little bit of compensation back for those moves,
I mean, I
kind of
could
thing.
100% see the Cowboys wanting to move back from 20 here because
Definitely.
they don't really have after this pick they don't pick again until 93, so
Mm-hmm.
they don't pick for 70 spots. You're looking at a different group of guys at that point, guys
100%.
that are fringe second tier players on your team in
Yeah.
this draft class. It's a different look, different thought process going forward.
Mm.
Again, I think this is a good trade down spot for them if that is the route of this draft. However, I didn't do any trades. I didn't do any of those thought
Mm.
experiments. But I had them sticking picking. This is where I have Keem Messidor.
Mm.
I
I don't
I
hate that
could
at
I
all.
could see him going lower than this. This is just kind of how my board fell. And looking at who comes after him, there's one other name I could push up higher, but I think Messidor fits more with what they want to do. This is like a win now team.
Yeah.
They
That's who
have the
Mesidor
pieces
is
in
going to fit
place.
with
Yeah,
is that
yeah, they have
timeline.
the pieces in place. They need that pop off the edge that they don't have right now. Is he Micah Parsons? No, but is he going to produce for you along with all the other guys you have? Yes. So
Mm-hmm.
give me Messidor here, and I think it's going to be more of a meshing group, especially now that you have the lane on the outside. You have less issues to worry about in your secondary, and your front seven can produce more, which will lead to more success on the defensive side of the football.
I don't hate it at all. Makes a lot of sense. All right. 21 with the Steelers.
Why don't you go first?
Again, like my board is very different than yours, and I think the guys that you have kind of keyed in on for them aren't going to be there. So I have them going with Emmanuel McNeil Warren, safety out of Toledo. Um, the issue with the Steelers this past year was most expensive defense, and unless it was a great matchup, not a great defense.
Hmm.
And they need to get younger and faster everywhere on that defense. That was my gripe all year with them. Was yeah, they're physical, but man, do they look slow. And at the safety position, I think that's a good place to start.
Hmm.
Gives them a little bit of something because again, like you can be a little bit slower but very physical up front. It's just that secondary just looked gassed most of the time.
Yeah, it
Like
was.
you have two completely different builds of defenses with the Seahawks and the Steelers, and it's like watching two completely different sports.
Yeah, so Steelers defense last year by week two and a half, three
And
was
injuries too, obviously.
injuries. Secondary was just beat up to all
Mm.
living hell. And they even went in carrying like five different cornerbacks that you could believe could start
Mm.
on your team. They kind of changed it up a bit for going into next year. They signed a couple different safeties, young safeties, but everybody is essentially on a one-term deal, one-year
Mm.
deal. So it's just I love Emmanuel McNeil Warren. I think he'd be a great fit here going
I think he's
forward.
a really good opposite piece to Jalen Ramsey there too, since they had him playing safety a lot last year. You have the physical guy, but
Yeah, I don't think he's Ramsey's obviously not long term. This is Ramsey's last year here. I 100%
no,
agree.
100%. But again, like you just won the division, you're expecting Aaron Rodgers to come back. You bring in Mike McCarthy because you're still on, you still
Hmm.
are talking yourself into the timeline of like, we're
Yeah,
trying to compete. Like, I think that's a good balance to what Jalen Ramsey has or what he gives
100%.
you.
I
Yeah.
know, but Deshaun Elliott's going to start opposite Jalen Ramsey next year. That's back to the matter. I don't. Again, I think they invest in secondary at some point here. I just don't think it's within this pick.
That's
And
fair.
if again with how my board has fallen, I don't think it's
Hmm.
within this pick. I think they're pretty locked in on wide receiver in the first round, given what they. If you look ahead to day two and how many picks they have, what they can acquire and what they can do in
Yeah,
that
because there
range,
are a lot of
that's
corners and secondary pieces in the on day
yeah,
two for sure.
guys that I like a lot.
Hmm.
Same with offensive. Same with guard. I love the day two guards. I love that group of three guys that are
Hmm.
available. I have the Steelers taking Omar Cooper Jr. I think
Hmm.
he's a perfect piece to what McCarthy's going to want to do in the future.
Hmm.
And they kind of talked about in the pressure. They want a guy who can play outside, inside, has that flexibility because they don't really have that right now.
Yeah.
They have Michael Pittman, who's going to play the Z. They have DK Metcalf, who's going to play the X. You don't have a slot corner on this roster. I mean, you don't have a slot receiver on this roster, period. Omar Cooper can do that, but you can also line him up outside. You can flex DK inside on a couple plays. You can move people around a little bit, and that's going to
Hmm.
give you a versatility that they've never had, or they haven't had since like 2009. On top of that, Cooper is from Indiana. He went there all his entire career.
Hmm.
And our new wide receivers coach brought him in, coached him. We have Frank Signetti Jr., the brother, but we've Kirk Signetti Jr., brother
Yeah.
to Frank Signetti,
Yeah.
on our roster. So he's
Or
well aware.
no, I think you were right the first time.
Yeah, I was right the first time. Yeah, okay, Frank
Yeah.
Signetti.
I was gonna say, wait a minute, that didn't sound right.
Yeah, I didn't sound right either, but
It
I
is what
can
it
listen
is.
myself.
A
I
psycho
apologize.
football family. You have
Yeah,
coaches from them. Yeah.
correct. Who also knows Omar. So
Mm.
the coaching staff is knowing already of him, what he brings to the table, has had conversations with him. It just feels like a perfect fit at this point. I've been kind of locked in on this for the last 2 weeks,
Yeah,
is kind
my
of
board
reminding me
just
of that.
fell differently. If he was still on the board, like, yes, that's who they're
Yeah,
taking in
100%.
my eyes too. But I
I
just didn't
think
have
there's a
him falling
chance.
there.
Sure. Yeah, I think there's a chance they might move up just to ensure it. I could be wrong. I'm wrong a lot, but this one just feels pretty good. I tend to get the Steelers pick right. I have
That's
the
fair.
last 4 years. I don't think I've missed since they shocked the world and took Terrell Edmonds in 2019. I think that was the
That's
last time
fair.
I missed.
That's fair. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense there. Um, so let's go to 22, which would be Chargers for you.
Yes, the Chargers at
I had to do the
22.
math on that because
You're
we'll
good.
get into my pick then too.
Yeah, Chargers at 22. This is one that I struggled with. Like I got to 21 this year, so I was like, cool. Chargers. I looked at it. I said, I'd love an edge here. There's not one. I
Yeah.
was like, D tackle, not one I love. Offensive
Mhm.
line, not one that I like. I've heard inklings of like Chase Besantis getting pushed up into the round one talks. I'm not buying it. So I pushed Caden McDonald, defensive tackle out of OSU here.
Mm.
He's a mean guy.
I would not be shocked by that at all.
Good run stuffer. Something the Chargers kind of needed for the last couple of years, and I think he would fill that role really well. Yes, they need O line. Interior though, you can get that on day two. Yes, maybe you need another pass catcher. Again, somebody you can get on day two.
Yeah, I was gonna say like where they're picking, it's like there's just not good enough value at
Yeah, I
certain
need
positions that make more sense. Like I said, I just had Ione falling that made it make more sense for them to just jump up a little bit, kind of thing, give up a later pick
sure,
to do it.
sure. Again, I don't think they're that kind of team to do that, honestly. But that's just my opinion on them.
I just feel like this is, I don't know, Harbaugh's got like one more year, maybe,
Yeah, but
of.
he's never been aggressive ever.
No, but what I'm saying is of like really knowing these college guys. You know what I mean? That, and, maybe learn from his mistakes or his shortcomings, not mistakes, but shortcomings with the Niners where he might go, okay, it's worth it to move up if need be, kind of thing. So that's, again, just my thought process on them moving up and mixed with how I had my board falling.
All
But
right, who do you have the Cowboys here then?
I have the Cowboys trading out again.
I mean, that would be great for them.
It would be very great for them. But this is where I have the Texans getting aggressive and being desperate for offensive line help, kind of thing, and going after a high upside and trading up with the Cowboys to get Monroe Freeling. Again, maybe not ready to play right away,
Mm-hmm.
but I do feel like if he hits, it is a fairly bigger drop off with some of the other tackles that are available.
I don't fully agree with that.
But you know what I mean? Like I feel like he's the way he gets talked about
Yeah,
and
I
has
mean,
kind of moved up boards that like
he has the upside to come out of this, and you look back in 4 years, you're like, yeah, that's still
right.
number one.
It and
But he has the
I don't want
downside
to
of
maybe drop side or drop off was too strong, but like there's a step.
I wouldn't even say that. I think they're all on the same playing field. I just
Fair
think he
enough.
provides you with potentially like the true tackle one of this class, but his
Yeah.
floor is so low, it's scary.
But I
Give
also
him
feel,
like
but that's part of it though too. It's just like I feel like with how bad the Texans have been on the offensive line the last 2 years, you have to do something. You have to take a big swing, and this is like I don't think they're going to be able to move up for Maui Noah or Fano or probably even Proctor. like I think you have to take a big swing, and Freeling might be the one that enough people have question marks on.
Sure.
He could fall enough for them to jump up. What is that? 6 picks that I have them moving up.
Sure. Funny enough, I have them doing the complete opposite later on in this draft.
Fair enough. Got it.
So we view that situation way different. Eagles at 23.
So I have them taking a guy that I like a lot more than you do, even though he is raw. But I think a team like the Eagles, they are win now, but they can get away with a guy kind of growing into it. And I have them taking Keldrick Falk, who I like a lot from what I've seen from him. He's not perfect by any means, but good size, moves really well. Again, I do like him a lot more than I think you do, but yeah, he's 6'6", 276. Good boy. Good God. That's a big boy.
He's big boy. I think that's part of my issues with Keldrick Falk as well. Unfortunately, it's his size as a pass rusher, just because guys can get underneath of him, and it doesn't really bode well for an edge rusher. I like Falk. I still have him going in the first round. It's just his true rawness definitely brings him back. Yes, he's only 21, but it's points like that I'm like, do I really want to invest in this guy here? Maybe he works out and I eat my words, but that's somebody I'm going to let take that swing on. Me personally, I'm not going to do it.
That's fair. Like I said, I think it just makes sense for the Eagles because you have Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter that are going to take some of that pressure off of him. For now. But even so, okay, you give him a year kind of thing. Like, do I think that by week 10 he's an impact player? Yeah. I can buy that because he's not going to be seeing doubles, and there's going to be so much attention towards Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis that, it allows him to kind of learn on the fly. He's not going to get the help because Fangio doesn't blitz, but of just getting those reps in early in the year.
Yeah, I went a different route, completely different side of the ball, different everything. Again, I did this with the thought in mind, like, okay, they're trading AJ Brown.
Yeah.
All right, outside of AJ Brown, what do they have on this offense? They have aging Dallas Goedert on a 1-year deal. They have aging Saquon Barkley.
Do you have them going receiver here?
I do. They have it. Aging Saquon Barkley took a step back last year. You have Devontae Smith, who's never been a true number one in this offense. I have them going with Casey Concepcion, who does something much different than what Devontae Smith does. Casey can play inside outside. He has that versatility. He's similar built to Omar, like 6 foot 195, I think.
I was good. He's small.
He's right in that range.
I was gonna say, he's like Rashid Shaheed 2.0.
Yeah, so I like him.
Where is it? 6 foot 196.
6 foot. I said 6 foot 195, so right there.
I was gonna say, yeah. Sorry,
I stare at this shit all the time.
I know you do.
So,
this is.
So I like Casey.
These are your trains.
Yeah. Yes. I think he's great in this potential scheme. Hurts would be able to utilize him. Maybe he'll throw over the middle of the field. God forbid.
God forbid he looks at the middle of the field.
But giving him that option, I think, would benefit him. Because if you lose a yak receiver like AJ Brown, it benefits you to put somebody else in that system that's going to help you get back to that point. Eagles signed a lot of dart throws at receiver this offseason.
I was going to say that's the only thing that I didn't even think about receiver for them, regardless of the AJ Brown situation, just
I
because
mean,
they
you
trade for
you look at
Dontavian
the
Wicks, they
the
sign
big
Elijah Moore.
6'4"
Yeah,
Elijah
but
Moore's, if anything.
I know, but I'm saying, but then they've made what, three moves for. Oh, Hollywood Brown was the other one that they picked up.
Okay, outside receiver.
I'm just saying,
Yeah,
like
and
they
I'm
did
just saying,
invest a
if
lot of
yeah,
in the position.
I mean, you invested names in the position, but
Yeah, but
outside
I
of
mean, still
financials, you can cut
bodies.
those guys
Like
for nothing. Yeah, and
I
bodies
know.
can
I'm
be
just
cut.
saying. Yeah, I'm
Elijah
just
Moore's not making the 15
probably
mils. He's
not.
just not making that. Dontavian Wicks again. He's 6'4". He's an outside receiver.
Like I
Um,
said, I'm just looking at it through the lens of like, okay, you made noise at that position.
sure.
Probably not going to be what you're doing in
Yeah, I
round
mean,
one.
there's a good chance he doesn't go here. If he does, I like Spot a lot. If he doesn't go here, I can see this draft going a lot differently.
Hmm.
Yeah. Browns
Fair
at
enough.
24.
So I had the Browns going back on to the offensive side here. I have them taking Caleb Lomu.
Okay, I have them going Blake Miller.
Fair
I view
enough.
Blake Miller
I,
as slightly better tackle. Like I said, played longer in NCAA. Scares me a little less with the offensive line. Um, so he has that veteranship kind of going into this, and he's a true left tackle. That's kind of where the Browns have their biggest question marks at,
mm,
is that left side of the line. I mean, so is Caleb Lomu. So I just like Blake Miller a little bit better. I unfortunately didn't find a space for Lomu throughout the rest of this, but
that's fair.
I definitely have heard him going in the first round. I could see him going in the first round.
Here's what I'll say. I agree with you on Lomu versus Blake Miller, but this is the Browns pick, so I expect them to make the wrong one.
If they make the wrong pick, then it's Monroe Freeling at 6.
I expect them to make the wrong pick with one of their two, and I think it's going to be this one.
You better,
I'll be.
they better hope. Yeah.
That's fair. Bears at 25. I think we have the same one here.
Zion Young. We've
Yeah,
talked about this. It makes so much sense. You
yeah.
have a power to speed rusher available, and it's something the Bears have lacked. They've tried it in a couple different ways over the course of their last few years, but they haven't really drafted and developed their own guy. I think Zion Young gives them that option, um, and it's something that they desperately have been looking for and need. Is just like a
Yeah. They need
true
help up
pass
front.
rusher. Yeah,
And they're going somewhere on the defensive line, no matter what,
correct,
with
correct.
this one
I
here.
mean, or really just defensive side. They lost two safeties, so I can see them going safeties as well.
That's true. Yeah.
Mhm.
But I just don't think any of them are going to be there for him.
Yeah, I mean that's certainly a possibility. I
All
mean,
right.
you just need somebody to play opposite Montez Sweat that isn't named Dale Odeyingbo. I mean, and I like Dale. Dale's fine. They traded for
Mhm.
Dale, but I just think,
You need more upside,
yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
yeah. And I'm
Uh,
glad we didn't trade for Dale. Dale is ingrown.
yeah. It's all good.
Too many names.
It's so many names. There's 53 on every one of these.
Each
Um, Bills at 26. I think we went completely different directions on this.
way different directions. I'll go first because mine's a little shocking because it's you might not hear it as much. I'm Emmanuel McNeil-Warren,
Mm.
safety out of Toledo. You talking about him for the Steelers? I'll talk about it for the Bills. I think it's something the Bills desperately need.
Yeah.
They haven't had it
Since
since
Poyer.
Poyer left 2-3 years ago,
Mm.
and I think he is going to be the face of that secondary, and something that you need to cover your asses on the backside. So I when I did this was the first time I saw it. And then later on, I read a few different mocks that had this, and it made me feel a lot better
That's
just
fair.
because, oh, other people are thinking how I'm thinking here.
Mm.
The other position I could see, and the position you did was wide receiver, but I could see D tackle, I could see edge.
There's a
And
lot of options here, for
kind of
sure.
falls in their lap here is what they're going to kind of lean with. They could also go offensive line. That's full potential.
Yeah. So I went with Denzel Boston here.
Hmm.
This is strictly because of the Joe Brady promotion and everything that happened in the offseason. You know,
Hmm.
they kind of threw Keon Coleman under the bus, even though it was very easy to kind of see through that and go, did the defensive head coach really bang the drum for a receiver in the first round? Or was the offensive coordinator trying to bang the drum for a big bodied receiver? This is the quickest way to try to eliminate that conversation and
Hmm.
forget about the whole Keon Coleman thing here. Also, on top of that, again, you know, you make the shift from a defensive head coach that's been there for what was he, 8 9 years.
7.
Yeah, you did it
Yeah,
at that time. That was
eight,
yeah,
9 years. Yeah.
yeah. You did it to yourself that one. But again, yeah, Denzel Boston, very similar body type to Keon Coleman, except faster, more of a
Hmm.
deep threat than Coleman having the upside as a red zone threat. Um, I think it just makes too much sense. I feel like they are definitely going receiver here. I thought about Casey Concepcion here, but I feel like that's too similar to what Khalil Shakir gives you as is. I know you get
Hmm.
DJ Moore in there, but I think there's going to be a little bit of that just culture shift, that mindset shift going from defense to offense. And like I said, this just that added in rhetoric around Keon Coleman that's going to
Hmm.
talk them. They're going to talk themselves into Denzel Boston here.
Okay. Niners here at 27. I ended up going with the thought process of Trent Williams getting up there in age. Probably has maybe 1 2 years left.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at that Niners offensive line, it's kind of all over the place. So I went with what could be the future replacement of Trent Williams and Max Ionicher. He's a very new to football. Like we're talking like 4 years total of football playing.
Mm-hmm.
He's still learning the game, but he's athletic as hell. And the tape he's putting out there is pretty good for somebody who hasn't played that long. Learn behind Trent Williams for 2 years, you're going to be a star in the NFL. I
Mm-hmm.
love it. He might have more upside for me than Monroe Freeling does. That's how good he can be.
That's fair. I had the same thought process as you, but I went with more of a ready to play now kind of thing because of Trent Williams' age and because it's the Niners and they can never stay healthy. And
Mhm.
I have Blake Miller here for the Niners. Same kind of thing. Like you need a succession plan
Yeah,
for Trent Williams
it's
at this point.
it's sneaking up on you.
Yeah, very quickly. I mean, I don't think that they wanted to give him any more money and just kind of
Hmm.
got forced into it. Um, so again, he's what 37, 38.
38.
Yeah. So they have to do something here, and that's
Hmm.
where I have Blake Miller coming in here.
Hmm. Okay, 28 here. I kind of hinted at this a little bit ago, but I have the Texans moving back into
Mm,
the second round, and I have a team jumping up. The Cardinals here to take Ty Simpson, probably the most polarizing player at this point. Nobody knows where he's going to go. He could go anywhere from 13 to the Rams all the way to back into the first round, early second.
mm,
That is where I've been hearing. So I don't know. I'm just going to stick with what I believe is going to happen, which is this Cardinals trading up to take him. I like Ty. I think he's fine. He's a great processor. I think he's a little on the smaller side, but he could fit Arizona system well, especially if they're able to get an offensive line in front of him that allows him to have enough time to process throughout all of his reads. And he can throw the ball. It might not be the best. He may not be the best deep ball thrower, but he can get it there. He works better in the intermediate and short ranges.
He's definitely a project.
Yeah, yeah. But
Definitely.
I think the entire Arizona team is a project.
Oh,
So
100%. No, yeah. I'm with you on that. I do have them doing exactly that, training back into the first. I just have them doing a pick later
mhm.
with the Chiefs. So, little spoiler on that. I have the Cardinals trading back in um, to get Ty Simpson. We had the same thought process on it. Get the 5th-year option on
Mhm.
that. It makes the most sense for the Cardinals to do it there. Like, I don't see, I mean, Dolphins get Malik Willis. Browns have so many other needs before they can really start thinking about it. It just makes the most sense for the Cardinals here to do
For sure.
that. So, yeah, definitely understand that there. However, I have the Cowboys picking here after their little run of
Mhm.
trades that I had them doing here, and I have them taking Avion Terrell. Feels kind of cowboyish,
Sure. I
playmaker
mean,
kind of thing. Same kind of thing as like Deron Bland, just like more of a playmaker.
yeah. I mean, so
Still a very good cornerback, but like his calling card is the big play.
yeah. I mean, makes sense. Jerry Jones loves NFL bloodlines. Avion Terrell's younger brother of AJ Terrell, cornerback for the
Mm-hmm.
Falcons, been there for 7 years, I believe.
Yeah.
But uh, my gripe with Avion is his size, smaller corner for sure. So definitely gonna take time to acclimate to NFL guys being able to blow by him, and he needs to be able to keep up with him. He ran a 40. I don't know if it was his private workout or the pro day. He ran it like a 4.6. So 4.56, something like that. 4.56, 4.6. So definitely not what you want to see from an
Mm-hmm.
NFL caliber quarterback. If you play zone scheme, it's going to work a little bit better. But if you're playing man to man, he definitely cannot keep up with a lot of the guys out there. So that's where like he worries me just a little bit with that.
Yeah. No, definitely completely fair. I just, like I said, like a guy that can flip the field
Yeah, I mean, if he's
kind of
able
thing.
to,
Like that just it
yeah,
feels like
it's
that's the only like, Jerry's gonna get his rose colored glasses on for something like that.
yeah. I mean, he could be Emmanuel Forbes all over again, who was a tall, lanky corner, but
Mm-hmm.
who only made plays in college, but he couldn't cover to save his life, and comes to the NFL, gets drafted above Christian Gonzalez to the Commanders, and gets cut within 2 years because of how poor his coverage skills are. I'm not saying he's going to be that, but I am saying if he's not drafted to the right system,
It
he's
can
going
go
to get
sideways.
he needs to be in a zone scheme. If
Yeah.
he's not in a zone scheme, he's going to get burned on every single play.
No, totally fair. All right, so let's get to 29 here. Like I said, I have the Chiefs trading out here. Again, this is Chiefs being a well-run organization. Small trade up to get a guy, and then turning around and moving back a few spots and getting an extra pick out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think about it a little differently. Obviously, with what I think the Chiefs could and will do on
Mm-hmm.
Thursday night, but here I have them picking Denzel Boston, kind of giving them a player they don't have.
Mm-hmm.
Just a tall bodied receiver who could potentially play that X role, where they have opposite Xavier Worthy and Rasheed Rice playing that slot role. Again, I don't love Boston. Boston's my least favorite of the top six receivers. I think he has some technique issues. He doesn't have a full route tree. Um, but if that's not what you're looking for him to do, if he's not meant to be your guy that you're looking at on every down, but
Mm-hmm.
kind of the go routes, the seams where you can hit him. Yes, give me Denzel Boston. He can high point the ball. He's good at jump balls. red zone, he'll excel. He just gives me pauses with some other things in his game, but I think he'd fit well with the Chiefs, and of course, Mahomes would probably make him look like a superstar. Miami here at 30. We talked about this a little bit pre-show. Just because you were struggling with your pick, you ended up
Yeah.
having similar thought process that I did, went a little bit in a different direction at the end of the day, just to keep things a little different.
Mhm.
But I ended up going with Colton Hood, cornerback out of Clemson, not Clemson,
Nope.
Tennessee.
There you
We were
go.
talking orange before, and that's what threw me off. But
It's
yeah,
all good.
cornerback out of Tennessee. So he played with Jamar McCoy 2 years ago. Came in, he was the only guy really on that roster this year, and he excelled in that position. Again, he's a little bit smaller. He's not McCoy's size necessarily, but I like his coverage skills a lot better than Avion Terrell's, and I think he fits what Miami's kind of looking for.
Mhm. They're about
Miami
the
here.
same size, actually.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Colton Hood's 6 foot 193. Jermon McCoy 6'1", 188.
Oh, okay. So he's a little bit
A little
heavier.
bit, yeah, a little bit thicker,
Okay.
but not
Okay.
much. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
5 pound difference,
Yeah.
but and an inch. So
Yeah. I think McCoy has better tape. He's more of a refined corner, but I think Hood in again get him in the right scheme. He's going to look the part. He's going to play up, and I think being on Miami would give him that opportunity to showcase his skills
Mhm.
because there's nothing else there.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I went with a guy that actually went to Clemson here, in TJ Parker,
Yeah.
a guy that I was hoping would get overlooked a little bit more and
Mm-hmm.
end up falling to Baltimore in round 2. That's not happening. I had hope for a little bit there. It
High
doesn't.
hopes, man.
Yeah, fingers crossed there. But unless something crazy happens, um, really consistent dude. Again, not a super high ceiling on him, but
Mm-hmm.
not a very low floor. I feel like on him, and just a piece that Miami could use on the defensive side, just to have some form of foundation there.
For sure. Yeah. Again, Miami just needs bodies. So if you're
Mm.
breathing and you play football, you'll get drafted there.
Yeah, pretty much.
New England at 31. I have a name that we talked about a bit earlier. I talked about him when we talked about him in Celtic Falk. Again, I'm just knocking him because he's young. He's
Mm.
not as polished as I'm looking for. But I think up in New England with Vrabel, I think he can get it out of him.
And if
So
he's there at 31, that's great value, I feel like.
yeah, yeah, I think it's a good spot for him.
Mm. I went with Caleb Banks. Caleb Banks is, I think, the toughest one to figure out where he's going to go. And I feel like I somehow still ended up with him like in the middle of his draft range. I've seen him at like 16 all the way to being like a late day 2 pick or
Hmm.
late round 2 pick. Like this dude's all over the place. However, that's a big boy too. 6'6",
Yeah,
327, like, and athletic as fuck
yeah,
for that size too.
he's a super athlete. I love what Caleb Banks can get you.
The
If
idea of Caleb Banks
Yes, I
is
love the idea of
something.
Caleb Banks. However, I don't want to draft the idea of somebody in the first round. I think Caleb Banks is a solid day two player. And again, if you go back, you watch all of our mock drafts. The first
Mhm.
one we did, I have Caleb Banks going deep at number 10 to the Bengals. I had the right idea, right position. I
Mhm.
just couldn't draft Dexter Lawrence there. That was the problem.
That's fair day. Fair enough.
Then following that, I think a week or so later, came out that Caleb Banks has a very bad foot issue. that could severely diminish his style of play,
Mm.
which to me is a detriment to where you're going to go in the draft.
That's
Something
fair.
like that. So it's just hard for me to want to put him above guys like Caden McDonald or Peter Woods
It was
or Christian
between
Miller.
I was
Or
between Banks and McDonald here. I
I
just
would,
think that
me
like
personally, I would have won McDonald. But again,
yeah,
I also don't think the Patriots are going to invest again into defensive tackle when they just did that last offseason. So it's like tough for me to be like, yeah, that makes sense. Like
that's
they just
fair.
signed Milton Williams to a $120 million deal last year, or however much it was.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know. Yeah, I couldn't really get anywhere else on them
mhm.
with them. You know what I mean? Like nothing really made sense to me. The only other thing that I kind of thought of was Concepcion, but with them getting AJ Brown, they have Booty, they have other
They've
pass
popped up
catchers.
lists. They have guys.
Yeah,
So
it's they're a funky team to try to figure out what they're doing, and I mean, are the Seahawks at 32 for being
yeah,
completely
well, I
honest
think
there, but
yeah. Let's get right into it. Seahawks, I don't think make this pick. However, if they do, it's BPA. So whether that's like where they need it the most, it's defensive backs and O line. They need a guard and they need safeties, corners because they lost all of that
mhm.
this throughout free agency and they never replenished. I went with one of the higher rising names on this board. His only gripe is that he went to a smaller school in San Diego State University, and I went with Chris Johnson. I think he has a lot of the tools that you look for in a cornerback. He is versatile. He can flex himself out, and he can play both zone and um, man coverage. He's somebody that you look for on the defensive side of the ball. He's that small school corner that can play up, like we've seen in the
I mean,
past.
yeah, I mean, corner is one of those positions. Corner and receiver is those are the best small school
Hmm.
positions. It feels like more often than not.
Yeah, and he has the body type that you look for in a corner.
Mm.
So he's everything going for him at the end of the day. And if the Seahawks get him, it could potentially be a steal at 32.
Yeah, and it's Mike McDonald and secondary pieces. Dude knows what he's doing there. I also went secondary, but because this guy was still available for me, I went with Colton Hood for a lot of the same things that you listed him for Miami. It's a guy that is very good already, and you know, based on what I'm saying, is going to be lucky enough to get with probably the best defensive coach in the league.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's kind of makes sense at the end of the day, them
Mm-hmm.
going that route.
Yeah. So
All right.
there we are. Went very
That
long
was
on
all.
this one. Hey, it is what it
Yes.
is. It's mock draft
Yes.
time. There's too many things to be said about this. So just for the sake of it, cooperate with me. Let's go. Here is Dom's final mock draft 3.0, just for the sake of putting it up there. His looks nice and clean and normal, with the only the one trade being the where are you? There you are. The Ty Simpson trade. Oh, we got the tiny hands out. Damn it, we didn't even bring up Kenny Pickett. And then we have mine that looks completely different with
Yeah.
all of
Nothing
those
like it.
moves, all of these
Many.
moves all over the place. Lots of stuff. Again, ignore the actual trades themselves. It's more about just who's going where. Look at that. Shout out
Hmm.
Mock Draft Hero.
Nice, man.
Being easy to use there. All right. You got anything else?
I got nothing. I'm excited to finally find out what's going to go down here over the weekend, and we'll be back on whatever day we come back together. Probably Monday next
after you
week
get back
if
from
you're
vacation
alive.
there, your birthday vacation, big old
Yes.
29.
Yeah. So once I get back on Monday, we'll have a nice long pod, talk about some of our favorite picks, talk about our teams and what we liked about it and what we didn't like. So
Draft
you'll get,
grades, all
yeah,
that fun stuff.
you'll get a full thought process from us.
Hell yeah. Can't wait for it. It's going to be a fun weekend. All right. Let's get out of here.
Let's get out.